domain 1. So when you're talking about the domain 1, we called as a information security governance. But before going to discuss about the domain 1, we would like to discuss the introduction of CISM. So CISM basically stand for Certified Information Security Manager. Okay. Certified Information Security Manager. Before going to understand the information security, what is information system? Information system. So can we say information system is all of people, process, and technology? Information system is all about people, process, and technology. Can we say PPT? When we're talking about company's vision, okay, so we have a vision. Vision is basically all about why we are exist. Like example, infosec in vision is that we are we are basically here to deliver the quality training. Okay, for that vision, we basically have a mission. Mission is basically a path. Based on the mission, we basically create a strategy. Then we basically create a tactical plan. And then we basically have a operation plan. So now what happened is vision is basically we set mission is there, strategy is long-term plan, tactical is basically mid-term plan, and operation is basically short-term plan. Let's take an example. If you go by the process, the strategy is basically very simple, is that we want a digital transformation. It means everything want to be digitalized. Information security manager will basically prepare the information security strategy to support the digital transformation. You know what we need. So example like company has decided to move service on the cloud. Company has decided to make the things automate. Okay. From a security point of view, what do you think? What are the suggested controls you want to support here? Migration plan, but that is not my responsibility, right? That's the responsibility CIO. From a security point of view, what are the things you need to suggest? Procedures. Do you need IDM, identity access management? Do we need a cloud security controls if you're moving in the cloud? Do we need encryptions? Do we need some kind of a compliance reports and all that? Do we need some kind of a example like a data security plan? So all these things is basically part of the information security strategy. Understood? Is there any rocket science in this? No. So this strategy will include all this activity, DR activity, control activity, firewall and all that. And then further to that, we basically defining on the operation level all those activities. We'll introduce in a phases like IDM is required. So IDM will build, BCP required, BCP we build, encryption is required, encryption is built. Okay. So this is how your organization basically works. First one clear? So information security manager or CISO, whatever, he creating or she creating a plan to support the business missions. One more example we can take. Okay, company is planning for a cloud. Simple, company is migrating to the cloud. Okay, what do you think? What is your suggested security controls you want to recommend? What is your recommendation for security controls, how to secure data in the cloud? Can you go and tell the management, no, don't move the data in the cloud? It will basically compromise the data. But problem is that business has a requirement, they want to move to cloud because of the cost. Can you go and tell them no? My question is, can you go and tell them no? Definitely no. If they want some initiative, we need to support the initiatives. Agree? And I'm sure you agree with me. I'm sure you agree with me. When it comes to the cost part, okay, security is not a revenue generation for the company. Agree? Security is never be a revenue generation for the company. So in this case, when security is not a revenue generation, in that on top of it, you telling the initiative which impact the business, what do you think? Will they greet you and that will be the last in the company? Definitely that will be the last in the company. So first we need to identify the issues, assess the issues, and according to that suggest the control. And that is basically where the information security manager come into the picture. Is it clear? So company has given you tasks that you need to conduct the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. What is the first step? Company has assigned you the task that we need to conduct the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. What is the first step? Identify assets, tools, scoping, right? Yes or no? Identify the tool, collect the logs, data it hold. The first thing is NDA need to be signed. NDA sign is required or not? Because even before collecting any information, client will tell you to sign the NDA because it is a breach of NDA if you don't sign it. So first step is sign the NDA. Now, why I ask this question? See, in the company, we have a two type of profile. Example, like when you attend any training or when you basically attending any functions and all that, okay, you might access to their information. So make sure you should not misuse the information. Is it clear? So that's why they tell you to sign the NDA. And after signing NDA, if you misuse their information, we can take a legal action against the person. We're going to discuss that point also. So when we're talking about in the organization, we have a two thing. One is called practitioner and one is called as a professional. Practitioner is the one who implement and professional is the one who manage. So when I ask you the question, what is the first step in the VAPT? You told NDA, so you told scoping and all that. It means your thought process is more like a practitioner. But in the exam, do I need a thought process of practitioner? No, practitioner is the one who implement. You need to have a thought process of professional. Team clear? Another example, we have a system A infected with a virus. We got this information, the system might infected with a virus. What is the first step? We got the information, the system is infected with a virus, or it might infected with a virus. We got this information. What is the first step? Isolate. If you isolate, it impact the business. It's not your courtesy. First, you need to confirm and validate. Is it actually inside or something else? Hello? Will you confirm? Will you confirm or not? Check with the owner. So that thought process is professional or practitioner? That thought process is professional or practitioner? Professional. And the one you said isolate, that thought process is? That thought process is? When you told isolate a system, practitioner. So what is the journey you need to carry? What is the thoughts you need to carry in the throughout the CISM journey? Professional. Is it clear? So when we say the perspective of the organization, we have a vision, we have a mission, we create a strategy. Based on a strategy, we basically creating a tactical plans. And then based on a tactical plan, we have a operation plan. So now what happen is, here is an information security manager. He is the or she is a subject matter expert for the board or CEO. So information security manager act like a subject matter expert to the board of directors and CEO what is security, and information security manager act like a subject matter expert for the operation team what is business. First point clear? I repeat again, information security manager act like a subject matter expert for the board that what is security, because by end of the day, who approve the budget? Board.
Good.
And information security manager act like a subject matter expert for the operation team what is business. Prab, how? Let me explain you. If I go to the management, okay, and say I want to buy a firewall, the best firewall is the one which meet the business requirement. Can we say? Is it a right statement? The best firewall is the one which meet the business requirement. Now understand the thought process. So that is how you are the subject matter expert for the board and explaining about why we need a firewall. And then you're explaining to the operation team how to implement the firewall without impacting the business. Is it clear? It will take some time, but this is how things works. Okay. Now coming back, see, I can start a session like that. What is CISM? But I need to build why we are here for CISM. Clear? So in CISM journey, we're going to learn everything from a technical point of view. but we need to implement that from a professional point of view. Is it clear? Second important thing, when it comes to CISM, we are using one term called information security. Information security and cyber security. I think both are same, right? Information security and cyber security. I think both are same. No. Information security, cyber security is not at all same. Suppose this is my laptop. So this is basically suppose my this is basically my you can say, okay, so this is basically my system. Okay, this is basically my system. Okay, or this is basically my laptop. The data in the laptop, data. Okay, and we protect the data with a password. This is basically called cyber security. Cyber security is all about a process by which we can able to protect the digital assets. Clear? Cybersecurity is basically all about protecting our digital assets. But keeping the phone in a physical locker, keeping a system in a physical locker and lock with physical control, that is called as a information security. So cybersecurity deal with the digital assets, whereas the information security deal with all type of assets. Is it clear? Cybersecurity deal with only digital assets, where the information security basically deal with the physical and logical assets. So information security is umbrella and digital security is basically part of the umbrella. Clear? So we are here to build the information security program, which is basically end-to-end everything. Okay. So when we're talking about CSM, it's designed for the person that have a responsibility of managing information security program. Okay, tough but very quality exam and require the understanding of the concepts behind the security just definitions. Okay, so this is basically the parameter we have that we need to discuss. So when you're talking about this program, okay, in this program, one thing is that the outcome of this training will be like building strategy, okay, how to build information security strategy, building governance, okay, building risk management functions and metrics. That is the ultimate outcome of this training, okay, that you need to remember, and that is only required for a good information security manager to know. Now, when you're talking about this exam of CISM is done from ISACA. ISACA is the one who taking care of this particular certification. Okay, they are popular in their different certification, like they offer CISM, they offer CRISC, okay, they offer CISA, okay, they have a CDSC, CDBSC. So we have a different vertical of the certifications. Okay, so when it comes to the ISACA one, from the information security point of view, CISM is well popular. From a risk management point of view, CRISC is popular. From an audit point of view, CISA is popular. From a you can say from a privacy point of view, CDPS is popular. Okay, but we are here for CISM. Okay, so when you're talking about the CISM, in CISM, this exam, when you're talking about this exam, can be done from home and it can be done from exam center. My humble request with the folding hand, do not do this exam from the home. Is this clear? Because even you are well prepared, okay, is it clear? Even you basically well prepared, there is a chance you might fail this exam. Okay, because the environment you get to give the exam from home is basically exhausted. I never ever recommend, because and I don't want the entire preparations you did and you fail this exam. Why? Because of the frustrations or irritations, exhausted. So it's my humble request. Okay, my humble request: do not give this exam from a home. And there's a reason for that. I will tell you. Okay, I will tell you the reason. If you're giving this exam from a home, suppose this is your room. Okay, first of all, there should not be any system should be in the room. So they will tell you to record the entire room and give us a video. Second is, this is your desk and you are basically sitting on the desk for the next 4 hours. They will give you only one break of 15 minutes. Okay, you cannot move your eyes, you can't even move your face, okay, from the exam screen. Even you try to move left side, right side, the proctor will be there remotely. He will raise the concern. Is it clear? So, you have to see the screen for the next 4 hours is pretty much exhausted. You'll not able to concentrate. Second is they only give you one break of 15 minutes and you have to come back in that 15 minutes. So that is why I said it's a humble request to not give this exam from the home. Is it clear, first of all? Okay. Second is, now what is the advantage of giving this exam from the exam center? Okay. One thing is that when you're giving this exam from exam center, we get multiple benefit. So we have 150 questions. Okay. And you need to attempt this 150 questions in 240 minutes. Okay. So what is the suggestion? 40 questions, 50 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to discuss that, Vinith. Okay. 40 questions, 50 minutes. 10-minute break. 40 question, 50 minutes. 10-minute break. 40 question, 50 minutes. 10-minute break. 40 question, 50 minutes. 10 minutes break. Is it clear? Sorry, this is already done. So in 140, 80, 120, okay, another you can take, your respective 30 more minutes to complete the rest of the questions. I repeat again, 40 questions, 50 minutes, 10 minutes break. So it means 40 questions you have answered in 60 minutes, then 40 questions, 50 minutes, 10 minutes. So total 80 question has been done in 120 minutes. Then another 40 questions in next 60 minutes. Okay, so you're done with 120 questions. Okay, and then you can take another 40 minutes to answer the 30 questions. So then you have a 10 minutes of break if you want. So by this way, the time is not an enemy. Is it clear? The time is not an enemy. So even so, you have attempted your overall 150 questions approx in 190 minutes. You still left with 40 minutes. Clear? Is it clear? Second thing is that when it comes to this exam questions, you have an option to review. You have an option to review. When I say option to review, what is the meaning that you can go back and change the option, not like in CISSP. Okay, so example like you have a doubt in question number 5 and it will take some time. Is it clear? You know very well it will take some time. So what you did, you flagged that question for review and you can proceed with the rest of the questions. And when the time is there, you can come back and review that question. So you have an option to go back and review the question. That is the best thing about ISACA. Second thing is that I think 2 or 3 times you can reschedule free. That is a good thing about ISACA is if you basically think you're not comfortable within a 48 hours, you can reschedule the exam. Okay, and I think reschedule is basically free. But this exam is basically indoors and controlled by PSI Exam Center. So this is basically the exam registration process we have that we need to follow. So this is basically the online proctoring process we have. Okay, so example like when you're done with the exam, when you book your exam, you will receive an email from ISACA dashboard. So ISACA dashboard and from where you need to launch the exam. So that is basically process we have. I can share that. One more important thing is this certification, CISM certification is basically valid for 3 years. Okay, the CISM certification is basically valid for 3 years. Once you clear the exam, now there is a one important thing I would like to discuss. When you're giving your exam and you pass this exam, is it clear? You will get 5 years to apply for the certificate. Just clearing the exam, it doesn't mean you become a CISM. You need to apply for a certificate. First point clear. I repeat again, once you clear the exam, okay, it doesn't mean you become CISSP. You need to demonstrate a 5 year of experience. Okay, that you have experience in information security or IT. There's an application form is there. You need to fill that application form. You have to fill this form and you need to upload the form in the ISACA portal. That I will going to guide you. ISACA will review the application and then they approve your CISM. Then only you can use CISM in your LinkedIn profile. You can use CISM in your LinkedIn profile or CVs and all that. So first point clear. I repeat again, the exam is basically once you clear the exam, it is basically valid for the 3 years. Okay. First is this is kind of a form you can download from the ISACA website. This is for series, but CISM is also same. Okay. I can share that. In this, they will give you the information applicant name. Okay. When you pass, you will get a ISACA ID once you register yourself with ISACA, they will give you ISACA ID. Then here you need to enter the company names. Example, in the current company, you have a 5-year experience to give start and end date. Is your company's cover the experience of 1 or 2, 3 domains? You can select 1, 2, 3, 4 domains. Then the next part is that basically the verifier CIS experience, and that is how here the application signature come. You have to date and sign, and here you need to add the verifier name. Who going to verify this application? See, it is done by anyone. Your reporting manager you can give the name of that. Okay, you can give the name of the company and his email address, and he will sign. Okay, so that is how. And once you basically file this form, you need to upload the form in the ISACA portal. They will give you the link also how to upload. You need to pay extra $50 to apply for a certification. Yes, for the 50, you need to pay $50 for the extra certification because you are processing the file, you're validating the things. So you need to pay extra $50 for that particular certification application fees. And then they will approve the application. Then you will use CISM in your LinkedIn profile. So suppose CISM got a notification in the month of May that you are CISM. Then the CISM will be valid for next 3 years. That is how it works. So example, like you need to maintain 120 CP points to maintain the certificate. Now, when I say CP basically stand for certification, processing educations, certified education processing thing. So what is the meaning of CP is that continuity professional education we called. You need to demonstrate to ISACA that okay, post certification, I'm upgrading my knowledge, I'm updating my knowledge. So are you attending a webinar, seminars? From there you get a CPs. Highest CP you will get when you attend the next training because where you get directly flat 40 CPs. Example, if you're attending after CISM, you're attending a CISSP example, or you're attending the CSAR training. Okay, after CISM, anything which is after CISM, then only it applicable. Okay, because that is what the evidence you're giving. So after CISM, you attend the CSAR training, you will get directly 40 CPs or 32 CPs. Then you attend the ISO 27001 training. So from there you get 32 CPs. So this is how you got the CPs. Then you upload the CPs in the ISACA portal. Okay. If you're able to pay, if you're able to maintain that 120 CPs for a 3 year, it means 40, 40, 40. Okay, one more important thing, every year you also need to pay $85 for their maintenance fees. $85. It means 85 into 3 is also the cost. Okay, 85 into 3. So paying 85 into 3 and maintaining 120 CPs. Overall aggregate amount is basically is all about the maintenance. If you maintain both, then certificate will be re-carry forward for next 3 years. Is it clear? Now next thing basically talk about the passing criteria. So candidate need to score, okay, 450 out of 800. Okay, so you need to score 450 out of 800. Now what is the meaning? Example, in each domain, first of all, you need to score 450 average. Then ISACA will see your aggregated score and they'll give you final score. You got 451 out of 800 example. So that is how is there. Now example in domain 1, you got suppose 380. But in rest of the domain, you got 550 plus. So they will see the overall average. Is the overall average is coming 450. If it's coming 450, you clear the exam. Now in 2 domains, you got 375. In other 2 domains, you got 500 plus also. Still, there's a probability you fail this exam. So by end of the day, you need to target, you need to get 450 overall out of 800 to pass this exam. Is it clear? Internal scoring matrix they use, so they never reveal the formula, but this is the 450 you need to score out of 800. Team clear? Okay, they use their internal logics. They use their internal calculations. Based on that, they do that. See, you don't need to go into this area. Reason why you need to go to the exam center, you need to clear this exam. It doesn't matter 450 and all that. You get a questions, you need to answer. That's it. So this is my suggestion. Okay. So 800 represent the perfect score. It means you answered all the questions correctly. And score of a 200 represent the lowest score possible. Okay, so 200 is the lowest score. When you clear the exam, I repeat, when you clear the exam, immediately you get a result whether you pass or fail. They will say, okay, your interim result, you are passed. After the 10th day, you will receive the detailed score sheet on your email. I repeat again, when you basically give this exam, on the day of the exam, they will give you the sheet. Congratulations, your interim result is basically pass. But after the 10th day, you will basically receive the detailed report of your score sheet in each domain, how much you score. Team clear? So when you receive a percentage of each domain, so percentage shown for each domain simply represent the relative amount of test question on the exam for that domain, and it's not used for scoring purpose. Okay, so I will going to discuss that also. Every domain, how much percentage you will get. But yes, go with this mindset. I have to answer every question with the right answer. That's it. So is it clear? Okay, so when you're talking about the domain, so we have a 4 domains here: information security governance, information security risk management, information security program, or the last is basically called as a incident management also. Okay, so these are the 4 domains we have. If you talk about the overall preparation, domain 4 is basically very important. I repeat again, domain 4 is basically very important. If you really want to pass this exam, you need to have a very good understanding of the domain 4, because incident management cover highest in all the 4 domains. We're going to discuss each and everything in detail, but just for a reference right now, how much percentage you will get from each and every domain we'll discuss in later stage. But I will just telling you, domain 1 and domain 4 both are basically very important. Okay, now when it comes to the exam prep, okay, when it comes to the exam prep have some guideline. Okay, this is the very important strategy. Okay, some questions is basically test your how you answer the sense of scenario. Example, like there will be scenario based question, 2 3 scenario based questions, and they will ask your opinion, what you recommend best, what you recommend next, and all that. Okay, so sense of scenario is basically required when you read the question. Example, like you got a question is, you are a security manager and uh, you need to report the breach. So what is the first step? Follow the company process. By following the company process, we can report the breach. So this is how the sense of scenario is used. Okay, good understanding of the concept. Let's take an example. What is the difference in privacy and secrecy, team? Privacy is basically deal with the individual. Secrecy is deal with the organization. Now understood. If you notice here, a thin line difference, but still it making a lot of confusion. So until unless when you're talking about, you don't know the concept. Okay, you're not clear with the concept. You're not clear with the parameter. It is difficult for you to answer. That's why a good understanding of the concept is basically required. Clear? So if you're not clear with privacy and secrecy, you're not able to answer the question. Okay. So good understanding of the concept is required. Then analytical analysis. Analytical analysis is basically mean you will be confused in 2 options. We need to select which, one option which cover other option. So analytical analysis is basically required. Is it clear? So that's another important thing. Because when you're talking about analytical analysis, if you're able to have a good understanding of analytical analysis, you can able to understand the things. I'll tell you why. See, I'll give you one best example of that. Tim, you have only 2 seconds, okay? And let me know what is your first reaction when you saw this picture. What is the expression about this picture? Surprise? Anger? When I basically told you, you have a 2 seconds. So whatever first thing comes in your mind, based on that you reacted. Yes or no? Yes or no? Whatever the first time you basically saw the thing, and based on that you have reacted. But now I told you, take more time. If you closely analyze, you can able to see that, okay, she's might be excited that she cleared the exam. So when you're talking about your brain is basically work in a two mode actually. Your brain is basically work in a true mode. One is basically called as a system 1 and one is called as system 2. So system 1 is basically think fast and system 2 think slow. So when we see something, okay, if we react on that, okay, we might take up poor decisions. So in the CSM also you have to follow the same thing. In CISSP you have to follow the same thing. Read the question twice. Might be the question what you have seen, it excited you. Oh, I know the answer. Yes, because Prab has basically covered this. But read the question carefully. Is it talking about best? Is it talking about most? So read the question twice, read the question thoroughly, and then answer. Is it clear? That's why we say, no, think from a system 2 point of view. Think slow, calm down, because in hurry burry you might take a decision. Is it clear? So I'm sure these pointers are clear to everyone. Okay. So in the CSM exam, take your time, apply the system 2. When you say applying the system 2, what is happening in the applying the system 2 is, in system 2 process, what happen is they take all information subconsciously, analyze the information, and then they apply the information on the question. So that is the most important thing. That is called as a analytical analysis. Okay. In some questions, we need to use a common sense. I know when you reach particular level, you might lose your sense also. But still you need to apply the common sense. Common sense is that in the case of disaster, what you need to protect first. When I say using a common sense, what is the first thing we need to protect? People. No matter he's a manager also, right? No matter he's the one who doesn't give me increment this year, but still from a safety point of view, first we need to protect him also, right? So use the common sense. Experience of audit is required. In some questions, you need a experience of audit. I will give an example. You are a security consultant and your company has decided to move the service in the cloud. Cloud provider basically giving you assurance that we have all required controls. Is it clear? Cloud provider is giving you assurance that we have all required security controls. Can you trust that? Can you trust that? The answer is basically no. Go look and verify. We'll ask for the audits. Is it clear? Go look and verify, ask for the audits. That is how you basically validate. So that is the experience of audit is required. Understood? So do not assume everything until unless it's not clear. That's the most important thing we have. Clear? And last but not the least, picking the best out of all. When I say picking the best out of all, what is the meaning? All four option is great, but select one option which cover other option. How? Uh, if you go by the process, which say, okay, what is the ultimate goal of this training? Option A, clearing the exam. Option B, gaining knowledge. Option C, upgrade your knowledge. So if I ask you what is basically the ultimate goal for you to attend this training, the answer is basically clear the exam. Can we say? So all four options look great, right, team? Still, we'll basically go with the option which cover the rest of the option. I'm sure this point is clear to everyone. So when you're talking about the question, in the question, okay, you have some keywords. These keywords is basically change the meaning of the question. So keywords are greatest, first, most, best. I repeat again, we have some keywords which is called as a greatest, okay, first, most, and best. So if I take example of greatest, now in the question they use the word greatest. It means what is the greatest advantage of attending a training? What is the answer? Greatest basically mean better than other option. Clear the exam. But if I rephrase the question, what is the first step is required for the training? What is the answer? What is the answer? What is the first step is required for the CSM? The answer is basically attend the training and then go for the exam. Can we say? Attend the training and then go for the exam. Can we say? Is it making sense? So this is how the question is basically got changed. Now, what is the most important book you need to refer for CSM? Official book or custom notes? Official book, because most is basically mandatory. Okay. Another example of most is what is the most important requirement for a success of security policy? What do you think? What is the most important requirement for a success of security policies? Option A, management approval. Option B, involvement of the business team. Even you have a involvement of business team, if management doesn't approve, will not works. Agree? Is it clear? So that is basically called as a most. Most is basically must. Must is basically mandatory. That is what we have. Clear? Now, next thing is basically talk about the best. Best is basically mean fixing up particular things. Okay. So that is basically next part we have, which is called as a best. Best is basically used to fix the issue. Best is basically used to resolve the issue. That is basically called best. Best example, what is the best content for the domain for? So this time we referring a particular domain. Okay. So this time I'm looking for the resource to fix a particular thing. So what is the best resource, okay, for the domain for? So best is a word to fix the particular thing. Best is basically used for fixing the particular things. Okay. That is basically called as a best. And last is basically called as a main. Main is basically mean ultimate goal. Main is the alternate word of greatest, but main is primarily used for the outcome. Main and primary word is used for outcome. What is the primary objective of risk management? What is the primary outcome of risk management? What do you think? Identifying the risk, analyzing a risk, or reducing a risk to an acceptable level? The answer is reducing a risk. By identifying, analyzing, we're reducing a risk. Because question is talking about example is ultimate goal of the risk management process. Is that clear? So next important thing is you have a limited time in which you need to gain the certification. What is the best, what is the greatest resource you can use to clear the exam? Attending a training, go through YouTube video, review the book. Definitely, if you have a limited time, attending a training will save your time, right? So that is how we are considering the factor. Understood? So exam is basically evaluated by the multiple factors. Okay. So when you're talking about the evaluate questions, so evaluate basically questions by writing. Now when we do writing, what is writing? See, writing need to be validated. Okay. So we are dealing with the vendor. Okay. We are dealing with the vendor, and vendor is basically saying that we have a appropriate security controls, and they're giving me in writing. Can I trust that? Can I trust that? The answer is no. Writing does not mean happen. Go look and verify, right? That is the first step. Live example. When you reach out to InfoSec train for CISM training, are you specific about trainer? Okay. So you said, okay, you want to take a training from Prab. Okay. My second question, have you checked whether trainer is certified? So here the thing is that even someone claim, okay, check the certificate by which we can able to verify. Team clear? Second is some questions. Okay. Some questions are basically talk about the sequence. What is the first step if the system was infected with the virus? The first step is confirm and verify. So it's a sequence. To going for the training, what is the first step? So question talking about sequence. So select the option which part of a sequence. Is it clear? So that is called a sequence. Let's take example. You're in a process of conducting a risk assessment. What is the first step? Mitigating risk, transfer risk, identifying risk. What is the answer? Identifying. You know why? Identifying is the first step. Clear? That's part of a sequence. Make sense? So because question talking about sequence, answer will be sequence. Okay. So question start with first, next, answer is question talking about sequence. Select the option which talk about sequence. Next is called about scoping. Scoping is basically mean what is consist in the policy. Let's take example. What is consist in the policy? Option A, management approval. Option B, scope statement. What is the best answer? What is consist in the policy? Management statement or management approval? Management approval is an outcome. Management statement or policy statement is basically part in the policy. What is consist in the risk management? Mitigating risk, identifying, analyzing, or evaluating. Identifying, analyzing, evaluating is a part of a scoping. The scoping is basically mean what consists in that. Team clear? Clear? Some question play with the tenses. Tenses mean you are a security consultant and you are responsible for building a policy. While building a policy, what is the first step? Understand the business requirement. Understand the business requirement is basically a first step. Because until unless you don't understand the first step, you cannot able to have to build the policy, right? But the question has got changed. What is the process? What is the first step after the policy has been built? The policy is already established. The answer is basically management approval. So that is how the tenses is basically change the question. Outcome matters. What is an outcome of a risk management? Mitigating risk to an acceptable level. So that is how the outcome basically matters. So writing need to be validated, sequence need to be done, scoping need to be done, usage of tenses are there, outcome basically matter. These are things is basically required when you're reading a questions. Team clear? As I said, we have a 4 domains. Okay, first domain is information security governance. Okay, which is basically a set of operations that basically perform the risk management. Based on that, we can able to prioritize and build and deploy the information security program. Okay, and then based on that, we measure the effectiveness with the help of incident management program. Let's take an example. The company is planning for a digital transformation, DTS. So CIO is basically creating his own strategy, IT strategy to support the DTS, and CISO is basically creating his strategy, okay, to support the CIO initiative. Because by end of the day, information security is the one which support the IT. So CISO will create strategy. Then based on that, he create a policy. Based on a policy, he create a program and then he implement. So information security governance is all about building a strategy, building a policy. Then based on that, we do risk management because it is not possible for us to protect everything on the same time. Okay. So we introduce a risk management program by which we prioritize the things. Then we create an information security program. The program is basically include everything. I'm sure you heard about ISMS program, Information Security Management System, but that is more from an ISO 27000 point of view. Different frameworks, different standards basically have a different type of program components. Then based on a program, we implement the program and then we'll see how the effective is the program. How we measure the effectiveness by seeing the incidents reported. We collect the data from incidents and then again it send the information to the board, and then board is based on that try to improve the program and functions. So that is why these domains are correlated. Okay, exactly, you're right, Dipali. Governance start with the strategy and policy. First strategy, then policy. Okay, same like Dipali, you're preparing for CSM. Okay, so you create one strategy in your mind, right? Okay, this is something I'm going to do weekend. Then according to you create a policy mandatory for me to review every weekend this program, review this program. So strategy you create and then you create a policy for that. Dipali, clear? Is it clear, team? There is a dedicated video I made on YouTube how to create an information security strategy. I don't know how many of you seen that. In that video, I have explained how to build a strategy. You can check that video. Okay. And now today there's one more video is there on GRC, how to build governance. I'm going to cover that same in the CSM also, but if you're looking for a detailed video of that, you can check that. Okay. I don't know how many of you have checked that video. So that is how the governance, risk management, security program, and incident management basically works in the system. So now we're going to start the domain 1. So when we're talking about information security, okay, information security is all about dealing with the different type of assets. Whereas the cyber security is deal with the digital assets. I repeat again, information security deal with all type of assets, protection of all type of assets or different type of security, and cyber security is deal with the digital assets. So if I join, okay, some company example, let's take example is I basically join a bank, okay, as an information security manager. So when I join information security manager in the bank, I was involved in building policy, I was involved in creating a strategy, but by end of the day, what is the ultimate goal? I need to protect the information. So when I say I want to protect the information, what is the meaning of protection of information? It means this information is only available to the authorized party. You guys using net banking? For each and every user, bank has given the unique username password. Yes or no? So you open the net bank, you enter your credentials by which you can see only your account statement. Can we say the account statement which is generated by the bank can only be seen by the user? My question is the account statement which is created by the bank and details it, I want that information only seen by a particular user. So here, what is a bank information security manager want? This information should only available to the authorized party. For that, they introduce access control, encryptions, and all that. Understood? Is that clear? So by this way, we preserve the confidentiality. Second is called as the integrity. As an information security manager, I want to ensure, as an information security lead, I want to ensure whatever the bank is generating information, it should be accurate. And if any inaccurate data is there, it should get detected. How? Let me explain you. I'm sure everyone aware about food aggregator app, right? If you take example in India, we have a Swiggy, Zomato. Okay. I think in Australia we have a DoorDash. DoorDash. In Canada we have a DoorDash or other food aggregator apps. So when you order something, some food, okay. So food is prepared by the restaurant, and they basically put some kind of a seal on that particular box, right? Some kind of a product seal. Yes or no? And when it delivered to you, make sure you should also receive the food with the sealed box. And they already clearly mentioned if you find a product with a broken seal, what we have to do? If you find a product with a broken seal, what we have to do? Do not accept that particular product. Yes or no? Same like this is the example of integrity. Integrity is what? State of information should be protect from unauthorized modification. Okay. So moral story is that I have a data. I have created a hash value of the data and I send to the user. When user download the bank statement, he check the data, check the hash value, and that is how he compare. If hash value same, the data was not modified during a transit. So this is how the integrity is maintained. An information security manager has implemented this particular practice. Third is resource must be available whenever it required. So my question is, which kind of industry, which type of industry is primarily focused on availability? Take your time. Which type of industry is primarily focused on availability? Can we say e-commerce? E-commerce. That is a perfect example. You know why? If you go by the e-commerce, okay, okay, their entire business is operating through a website. Their entire business is running through the website. Yes or no? If website is basically down, everything is down. So for them, availability is important. Let's take example of financial firm. Financial firm primarily focus on integrity. You know that they are primarily focused on integrity. The entire game is all about numbers, right? If there's a change in the numbers, if there's a change in the value, it impacts the entire market. Just imagine you wake up morning, you open a net bank and it's showing account statement zero. Will you be happy? Will you be frustrated? Will you definitely frustrated? And there is a possibility you might lose, you might try to withdraw, or you might try to close the account with the company. Based on the small random value changes in the account statement impact the entire stock market. So financial firm lot of time focus on integrity. So according to that, we need to prioritize the security solutions. The third part is availability. Make sure the services must be available so that people can buy the services. So e-commerce business focus on availability. So confidentiality, integrity, availability. These are the factors we are considering when you're implementing information security. Team clear? Actually, as an information security manager, I'm implementing information security to preserve the CIE only, and by which I am achieving the business outcome. Team clear? That is what we're saying. For a educate protection, strategy is essential. For a educate protection, strategy is essential because strategy talk about what to protect and what not to protect. Now, next topic is basically called as a governance. Okay, but before going to start the governance, let me play a small video and let me know what you observe from this video. There is no audio of that, okay? Okay, so let me play a video. Just give me a second. Let me know what you observe in this video. So that is a live example how the lack of governance basically impact the strategy. So same like, in India, suppose in India we have, other countries we have, government basically play a very important role. But lack of governance, if we have a lack of government, it lead to the poor impact. So it is basically very important how governance is important in the organization. So in order to understand the governance, there is a one diagram I have which give you better visibility. So we have an asset here. Asset can be my physical, it can be my hardware, it can be my software, it can be my information, it can be personal. Okay. Asset is require a protection. Okay, based on the confidentiality, integrity, availability. Okay. Same example. In EU, there is a one privacy regulation we have. What is the name of the privacy regulation in EU? So we have a regulation which is basically called as a GDPR. So GDPR is a privacy regulation in EU. Now, this GDPR, whatever we have, okay. Now we have an office in Kerala. Okay, we have an office in Kerala. In office in Kerala, we have one of the floor in which we have 50 employees who have access to the EU data, European Union data. So my question is that do they need to comply with GDPR? Definitely yes. Now GDPR is basically bring approx 1,000 principles, and along with that, it basically cover more than 20 articles. Is it possible for the 50 employees to follow 1,000 articles and 20 articles, whatever it is? Let's take an example. No. Can I guide them how to implement? No. So how to do that? So what we did, we basically introduced the policy. Policies basically cover the GDPR requirement. Then we apply the policy in the organization in terms of implementation. Like, every laptop, every data which is used for European data, USB is disabled, internet is disabled. So no one can able to upload any kind of a data. GDPR basically stand for General Data Protection Regulation. This is a basic requirement need to know from CISM point of view. Okay, because this is a basic knowledge of information security, which is called GDPR, is a privacy regulation. Okay, so question is basically when we're talking about this 1,000 requirement, 20 requirements and all that, okay, whatever it is. So it is very difficult for this company to be follow. Is it clear? It is difficult for the company to be follow. First one clear. So we create a policy. In policy, we basically capture all the legal regulatory requirement and we enforce the policy in the organization. We said no one's supposed to browse social media. No one's supposed to carry pen drive. No one's supposed to carry smartphone in this facility. So by introducing this statement, we are basically meeting the GDPR requirement. Is it clear? Is it clear? So I'm not telling the employee what to do, what not to do. We just create a policy in a very simplistic manner and capture all the requirement in that policy. Same like in India, we have a RBI guideline. So RBI has some guideline, you cannot store customer data and all that. We were clear. So what we did, we cannot tell every employee about the RBI, all the guidelines. So what we did, we convert the RBI guideline into the policy. Like no one's supposed to carry camera, no one's supposed to carry smartphone, no one's supposed to carry USB to connect the device and all that. Understood, team? So what happened is when we're talking about building this policy, appointing a privacy officer, appointing a CISO who implement all these things, that is called as a governance. So governance is all about your management practice. Governance is all about policies. Governance is all about the procedures which applicable on whom? People, process, and technology. Here we have applied on a 50 employees. And that is basically the process we have. And then what we did is basically we ensure they are basically compliance with the legal regulatory requirement. Is this example clear to everyone? We'll discuss next level, but this basics is clear. So we introducing the policy, we introducing a procedure, we introducing a practices. What is due care due diligence? Ignore right now. It's not required for you to understand. But what you need to understand is governance is basically a combination and collection of the department. Okay, collection of department, policy, procedure. Okay, that shows we have a good governance, and that we're going to be apply on the people, process, and technology so that they can compliance. Compliance is just an English word, mean act of abiding. Compliance with legal regulatory requirement. Now, if I take example, organization A is GDPR compliance. How can we demonstrate? We can demonstrate by having a governance and their requirement. Or in other way, we can say that company has a great governance. How can you say that? That company has a great governance. Are see, they're compliance with all the legal regulatory requirement. InfoSec train, they deliver a great training. How can you ensure that they deliver great training? Every day one of the student is clearing the exam. So can we say clearing the exam is giving an evidence of the great governance of InfoSec train? Can we say? Because if you go by the InfoSec train process, when you enroll in the training, there's a sales is there. You will receive an email from a delivery team. They appoint the trainer, and the trainer will basically take a session. And by end of the day, what is the outcome of this entire system? Providing a quality education to the participants, by which they clear the exam. So that is a perfect example of a good governance. So when we're talking about the governance is basically sum of policy, department, and the people that we appoint. They are the one who basically going to control the information system. Information system is all people, process, and technology, by which we can able to provide the great results. So this is the live example of the bad governance. Now understood the example?
Yes.
Inadequate, inappropriate element I told. Okay, and by end of the day, who suffer? Who suffer in this bad governance? Prab, no one has told me in advance that the session is going to be the evening. Basically, and now you telling me, okay, Prab, session will start in the evening. So can we say that is a perfect example of bad governance, bad strategy, bad implementations, bad monitoring? Yes. If we have a good governance, great strategy and all that, we inform you in advance before you enroll for the training. This training is going to be happen in the evening. Are you interested? Yes, I'm making a payment because of that. And that happened actually. But if we don't have a strategy, if we don't have a policy, and randomly say, okay, tomorrow we have a training program which is starting in the evening. Trainer is saying something else, sales is saying something else, operation saying something else. That is an example of the bad governance. There's a information is basically given by the elders. Okay, once you get married, life will be changed, and that is a different story. The life get changed, but not in a positive, not a negative. So that's a bad governance. They're giving this statement because they want us to get settled. Things will different after the marriage. So that is example of bad governance. Lack of awareness. What is happening after the marriage? Lack of strategy after the marriage. So that is an example how the bad governance can impact our strategy decisions. Team clear? So governance is basically very important, which is a foundation for any organization. So when we're talking about GRC, okay, governance, risk, and compliance, what come first? Governance, risk, compliance. What is basically what is the first thing? Always remember governance come first. Until unless you don't have a strategy, until unless you don't have an understanding of business, can you do risk assessment? Are you preparing for CISM certification? Until unless you don't create a strategy, can you prepare for certification? No. Do you need a mentor? It's up to your requirement. Do you need resources? Yes, you need resources. But question is which resource need to be followed first? How to follow? Then we do risk management. So governance is basically a set of operation, okay, which does the risk management by which we compliance with the legal regulatory requirement. First one clear. Second example, I join one company as a start. As there's a company which is called a startup company. Okay. Now in the company they said please start the security governance or governance in the organization. Okay, fine. Let me first understand the business requirement, understand the legal requirement, understand the regulatory requirement, what is the intent, what is the vision. But to understand this, they have appoint one person. Who is that person? To start the governance in the organization, I am the one who going to understand the business requirement, legal requirement, regulatory requirement, and everything. So here, requirement of building a information security start with whom? Requirement of building a information security start with whom? What is the first step? Appoint the right person. Yes or no? Until unless we don't have a subject matter expert, how you implement the information security? Need of the information security need. That is why we have created a strategy. So governance is the foundation for any organization. So governance is all about corporate management, creating a strategy and policy. Team, in India, we have a GST system, right? In India, we have a GST system. But if there is no GST law, if there's no law protected by GST, will you follow the GST system? My question is that if there is no law abiding with the GST, will you follow the GST system? No. So law is the foundation for that. And who create a law? Parties. Who is a party? Government. Government is the one who build the law. And based on that, people will follow. So that is what example of governance. Does it make sense? Is that making sense? Why GRC G is first? Governance is all about set of operation, doing a risk management so that we can comply with the legal regulatory requirement. So if you go by the process of the governance, now what is governance? As I said, governance is basically all about set of operation. Now under the governance, we have a first thing which is called as a corporate governance. What is corporate governance? Corporate governance is basically all about senior management, board of director. They are the one who run the show. Agree? They are the one who run the show, right? They are the one who run the business. If they're telling you to come on Saturday, will you go on Saturday? Saturday is off. If they're telling you to come on Saturday, you have to come on Saturday. If you want to extend post 5 p.m., you have to. So they are the one who run the show. They know the visibility. Then under the corporate governance, we basically have a IT governance. IT governance is all about the strategy to run the IT operation. Under the IT governance, then we have a information security governance, which is all about set of operation related to the information security. Is it clear? Hello? So with the same example, let me explain you. Corporate governance, build business strategy. We want business transformation, digital transformation. IT strategy, IT governance will prepare the IT strategy. We need data center, cloud, and everything. And then information security governance will prepare the information security strategy. How to support and secure the IT governance so that we can able to create and generate a value for the business. And then information security governance basically appoint the information security practitioner. Is that making sense? I'm going with a very simple example so you get a visibility what is governance. Okay.